Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got another review on the new team of the season, Lacroix. We're going to go through the Cardizito stats, clips and summary, but before we get into all that, if I could ask you guys to please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when I upload, and comment down below what your thoughts are on this card. And now let's get into the video. So guys, getting into this Lacroix review here, and this is the position I played him in that centre back slot in the 4-2-3-1 next to Tapsoba, next to Mbabu as well. And I love this card, guys. I think he plays really well, really strong in the tackle, capable player. But does he live up to that hype that has been given him because of the pace? We will look at that in more depth. Lacroix, medium work rates, right footed, 2-star skill moves, 2-star weak foot, 6 games played, no goals scored and no assists. Now guys, the first thing to note here, of course, the skill moves on the weak foot are very low. That's a little bit annoying. The medium work rates aren't too bad because often you'll find medium work rates players are quite lazy. However, he sticks to his position quite well in that sense, so there's not too much to worry about. And he's got good height, good length as well to be able to deal with all sorts of attackers. In terms of the chemistry style, I put an engine on him. I also did try a shadow on him. Actually, I feel like the shadow worked a little better, which leads us into the attribute details, guys. The key pros of the card. Of course, that physicality is crazily good, 99 strength, and it does show in game, guys. He bullies a lot of people, even bigger center backs as well. He bullies them about, so really nice to have that as well. And 99 jumping, wins a lot of headers, guys, gets in the way a lot, wins a lot of the corners too, so really nice to have that as well. Great defending stats as well across the board. Would have been nice maybe to have a bit of a better stand and slide tackle and interception stat, but it's workable on this card, and with the right chemistry style, actually with the shadow, it does get boosted to a very elite level. In terms of his reactions and composure, not the highest, so that is a con of this card, but the passing is decent on this card too. The only other con that I will mention, guys, specifically as a centre back card, is that the pace, while it is sitting at 90, he is quite tall. So with that acceleration being lower than the sprint speed, he feels a little bit slower than he should in game. You will need to give him the shadow or the catalyst or something similar to that to really get the best out of his pace and maximize how you want this card to play and how this card will be played for the most part. But otherwise, guys, really do love how well this card did for me. In terms of traits, he hasn't got any. So now that we've covered that, let's get into some of the clips that I got with him. So guys, getting into some of Lacroix's moments here, and what you guys are going to see is his general ability at that centre back slot and how well he did for me in that role. The first thing we'll get into, guys, is his pace. Now his pace is good. There is a caveat with his pace though, and the caveat is that while his sprint speed is excellent, his acceleration is not. If you're going to boost this card, you will need to put a chemistry style which boosts that a lot to be able to get the best out of this card. And although his pace is very good, guys, this is again somewhat of a con, considering that you do need to help his pace out a little more. In terms of his passing, guys, I actually felt like his passing was pretty solid, even though on the stats he may not be as solid as, say, someone like Tapsoba. Certainly better than Mbabu in the centre back slot at passing, so I really did enjoy using him there as well. In terms of his dribbling, guys, I didn't really get to use this that much, and to be honest, guys, I was a bit afraid to do so. Tapsoba is a bit of an anomaly in that regard, in that he's able to dribble as well. This Lacroix card was able to turn and move with the ball, but I often felt like I was a little more panicked with him on the ball. He did feel less responsive than another centre back might. In terms of his defending, guys, absolutely fantastic, guys. His tackling, his strength in there, and we'll get into his physicality shortly, but his defending was very good in all regards. And guys, considering the price that you're paying on this card as well, what you're able to get from this card with terrific reading of the game, with terrific positioning, terrific tackling, strength in the tackle as well, overall I feel like the defending aspect of this card is very good. And that, of course, as we always mention with defenders, is very important because defenders need to be good at defending first. The last thing we'll get into, which we did previously mention, is the physicality. And guys, where this is really important for me is that 99 strength. He is so strong and capable in the tackle. He moves really well to intercept the passes. He's able to match up with those bigger strikers, despite the fact that he does seem like a leaner frame as well. Cuts out a lot of opportunities as well, and his physicality plays a big part in all of that as well. I feel like as well, guys, because of the strength, he takes the ball a lot cleaner and is actually able to hold off those little chances that people get to nip the ball back from you. He's able to hold people off and get the attacks going as well with that physicality. And it is so important just in terms of how well this card does, that he's able to be so physical on the ball. As we get into these final few clips, guys, you're just going to see more of the same. Again, good strength there, holding off the strikers and attackers there to make sure he keeps the ball in that situation, and then you can start to play out. Again, great strength on that movement there. And in this final clip here, more of the same. Good heading there, and this final one, again, a lovely tackle just to get the ball back. So guys, getting into this Maxence Lacroix final summary, 390 on the PlayStation, 354 on the Xbox, and 400 on the PC. Now guys, the key pros of the card, I actually love parts of his physicality, and actually the bits that aren't as good, they're still fine for me. Defending stats are decent as well, though I do wish he had better interception, stand, and slide tackle. Dribbling is okay, short passing is decent. His pace does need a bit of a helping hand as well. Now the recommended chemistry style for this card for me guys is fairly easy. Get his defending to an elite level, bring his pace up to a really elite level, and that way you'll get the best out of this card in terms of what he's able to do. In terms of similar players guys, he's a leaner centre back, and actually he reminds me of Raphael Varane, not necessarily the tots card, but certainly something similar to maybe his road to the final card, where he's not so much of a wide centre back like Tapsoba is, more of a slimmer centre back who's able to do a lot more of the tackling, maybe something across, maybe a mix between Varane and Ake, somewhere in the middle there between those two in terms of his capability. Of course, he has fantastic strength, so that's something he really has going for him compared to a lot of other players in that position. In terms of linkability guys, we've got some strong links, perfect links even, to Roussillon's flashback card, which is really nice actually, and that's a free card as well guys, so do complete that, check that out. Review is out on the channel as well if you haven't seen it. French icons there of course as well, other French players in the Bundesliga as well as other Wolfsburg players. Of course there is Mbabu, there is a Baku card in there somewhere. There's French players coming out all the time for this league as well right now, with Mukiele, Zagadou, Guendouzi's in there, and Kunku's in there, so we've got so many links with this card in terms of what we're able to do. The price of this card guys, now he does sit in a fairly high position compared to a lot of these cards, and the problem with that being guys is that you really have to weigh up against what other cards are available. Now if we look at it compared to Tapsoba, who is a freak SBC for me guys, he is the best centre back, the SBC, or one of the best SBCs we've got this year. Lacroix is not better than Tapsoba, I will say that outright 100%. He's not better than Tapsoba. However, if we take Tapsoba out, there isn't a card below him that I actually think is better than him, and there's a lot of cards above him that I definitely do think he is better than. So for me guys, I would be looking at saying this card is definitely worth it in terms of that. However, if you're going to pick between Lacroix and Tapsoba and you can fit both into your team in the same way, then I do recommend doing Tapsoba over Lacroix. If you're using that perfect link to Roussillon, then there's an obvious choice here to make, which is picking Lacroix. And actually guys, that leads me to my final recommendation, is you really have to think about the links in your team for this card. If you're just weak linking him in, you're better off getting Tapsoba, using that coins to get one of the elite centre backs of this year. If you need him for that link to Roussillon, he's a fantastic centre back guys, he is still worth it, don't get me wrong. I would just be making sure that you put your coins in the right place for these centre backs, because this card is fantastic, but there are better alternatives like Tapsoba or Mbabu even that are available as well. Hope you guys did enjoy this review. If you did, please do smash that like button and hit that subscribe button, it does help the channel grow please. And thank you all again, and I will see you all in a bit.